Hi everyone, I'm Mohan and we are here today with the 2016 Triumph Thruxton R. Now, the term cafe racer originated in the 50s and 60s in England when riders would ride to the Ace Cafe in the middle of London and use the ring road as a test track to find out how fast their bikes would go. One of the goals most racers had, or riders at the time, on the street was to hit the ton, which is 100 miles an hour. In metric, that's 165 kilometers an hour. Now, while today 165 doesn't seem like a lot, in the 60s, using drum brakes and the technology of the time, it was literally a life-risking endeavor. Now, the term cafe racer has come down through the ages with various iterations of the model. What we have here with us today is perhaps the cafe racer brought up to date, right into the 2000s. You will have the latest of technology, you have the latest in rider aids, and this brings the cafe racer up to date in the form of the Thruxton R. Now, one of the biggest changes that has been made to the Thruxton from the previous generation model is the 1200cc liquid-cooled fuel injection engine. Now, this change was made simply because, number one, emissions regulations, specifically Euro 4, have dictated that air-cooled big twins no longer comply. So in an effort to make the engine Euro 4 compliant, Triumph has had to take the drastic step of taking their classic parallel twin and liquid cooling it. Now, while some purists may scream, the engine has kept certain touches. The air-cool fins, the engine casings still all hark back to the 50s and 60s Triumph design. But make no mistake, this engine is really bang up to date. While horsepower figures may not necessarily be the be-all and end-all of a bike like this, it does put out about 95 horsepower and 112 Newton meters of torque. Now, this is more than enough to be entertaining and is easily controlled by any rider, even a newbie. As we come around the front, you will see another update that has been made to the Thruxton R, which are the twin discs and the Brembo 4-pot calipers. Now, the previous generation Thruxton only had a single disc, albeit a big one, but these twin 310mm discs do a very good job of stopping the bike, no matter what conditions. You will also note it comes with front ABS. Now, the sharp-eyed among you will notice that the wheel size has actually become smaller. The previous generation Thruxton had an 18-inch front wheel. The Thruxton R for 2016 comes with a 17-inch hoop. This will mean that it'll make it very easy for the rider who wants to emphasize the performance side of things on the Thruxton R to find sticky rubber for the front. Also of note are the upside-down forks. These are 43mm Showa units, and they are fully adjustable for compression and rebound. One of the other things that has been done to the Thruxton R are the AMAL carburetors. Well, they're not really carburetors, but they certainly do look like AMAL units. So this is a very nice touch, tying into the retro styling of the Thruxton R. No tickling required here, no adjusting of needles, no adjusting of the float, and it certainly doesn't leak, but it does lend a lot to the looks of the Thruxton R. As you come down to the back of the side panel, you'll see three little holes, a theme which is repeated throughout the bike, especially on the fake air filter covers, as well as the As we come around to the back, you can see the little holes drilled into the side covers and the foot peg guard. Now, these hark back to Triumph's racing heritage, where holes were drilled literally everywhere in an effort to lighten the bike. Now, the Thruxton R weighs about 206 kg, and for a 1200, that's pretty light. So it does mean that the handling's quite sharp and certainly very controllable. The other change that's been made to the bike is at the rear end, and you can see the aluminium swing arm. Now, this is a shorter unit from the previous generation, and it is a lot stiffer, as well as being more compliant in terms of the rest with the standard Öhlins rear shock absorber units, which are also fully adjustable and they come standard with the bike, you do get very, very good handling with the Thruxton R. One of the extras that we were given with the test unit that we have here is the Vance and Hines slip-on exhaust. Now this is an optional extra from Triumph, but it's still Euro compliant. There's still catalytic converters in it and it's not overly noisy. Perhaps some of you may want to address that, but as it is, it's pretty good. You can also see the rear wheel, which comes with Pirelli rubber now, and the rear ABS. These spoke units are actually tubeless, which is one thing is it's very expensive to make a tubeless spoke rim. So these are pretty good. As we come up to the top, you can see the single seat unit. This is standard on the Thruxton R, and the cars come with a gel seat with red stitching on it, very sporty looking, and it certainly does suit the bike. Bad news is the rear seat cover is not removable. The Thruxton R for 2016 is a single seater bike. Coming around to the front, we have the headlight unit, which is now an LED unit with daylight running lights, an upgrade from the halogen units from the previous Triumph. And you can see the Brembo master caliper around the top. As we come around the bike, on the fuel tank, very cafe racer shape, cutouts for the knee. Triumph does offer optional knee guards, knee pads for the tank. One of the other upgrades that has been made over the previous model is the locking fuel cap. Okay, this was something that was missing from the previous Thruxton, causing a lot of owners to have to upgrade to a locking fuel cap. This is now standard. And the aircraft style fuel filler again harks back to the racing days of Triumph. The steel tank strap, this is a functional piece. This is not decorative. It does hold the tank in place. Triumph also has an option to have this changed to a leather strap, which is even sportier and better looking. I've seen it in real life and it really does look good. Now as we come to the instrument cluster, we have two chrome ring dials, white faced, again very, very retro looking, but you have two little LCD readouts which give you everything you need to know about the bike. On the left side we have the measurements. So using the little button here, we get the odometer, one trip meter, second trip meter. We also have consumption in liters per 100 kilometers, your average consumption, and the clock. It also tells you that the traction control is on and the ABS is on. Now this little readout here is your gear shift indicator. It's now in neutral and it goes through the gears to tell you which gear you're in. On the right side you have your range, which is calculated from the trip meter, as well as your fuel. Now at the bottom you will see the word road, which simply means that this is one of the 3 ride modes available for the Thruxton R. To change the modes, you just press the mode button, which then gives you sport as well as rain. So you can actually select these modes on the fly as you're riding and to suit road conditions. Up front you see the adjustments for the Showa forks for compression and rebound. So what do we think about the Thruxton R? Well, we have taken it out for a test ride. We will be posting a full road review in due course. Now this bike, despite its retro looks, is very much up to date. You have all the latest modern technology brought together in a very, very classic looking package. Currently the 2016 Triumph Thruxton R retails for 91,900 ringgit. Some may say this is a lot of money to spend for what is basically an old looking bike, but make no mistake, this bike will keep up with modern technology. So if you can live with a single seat, which is what is essentially a naked sports bike, despite the looks, it is very much a sporty bike. It's got performance orientation on it, LED lighting, and on top of that Triumph does provide a performance package or a sports package, which gives you a bullet fairing, as well as the aforementioned Vance & Hines exhaust and lower sector pods. So, wait for our review. We do think that this is pretty much a very, very beautiful looking bike in the classic sense. The fact that it has braking and handling to match is pretty good.